Hello, I'm Kads, and welcome to today's video. Now, first things first, I changed my overlay, and I like it. It's a little bit simpler, a little sleeker, so if you guys like it too, let me know in the comment section down below, and I will keep this one going forward. So today's topic is the Sand Devil's Necropolis. How can you do it at a lower level? I'm sure many of you have seen a lot of teams for stage 24, 25, etc. I haven't even reached that far yet myself. But we're going to talk about the lower stages and how you can farm them easily and quickly to be able to get that pesky advanced quest done. Now on this channel, I haven't actually talked much about this dungeon overall, so I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about how I feel about the new system, the new dungeon overall. Simply put, I'm a huge fan. I always like a new challenge when a new challenge comes to the game because I do love PvE. It's my favorite part of the game. PvP is alright, but I heavily favor PvE as far as my own preferences. So I always like when there's a new challenge or something new to conquer, something new to beat. And I think the alternative here, because in the past, the way they dealt with evolving the game, they added 6-star gear. There didn't used to be 6-star gear for those of you who are more recent players. There didn't used to be legendary gear. It used to stop at 5-star epic. And so power creep, they pushed it a little bit further. We got 6-star gear, then we got legendary gear. And so your 5-star epic, your 5-star rare started to get a lot less value. In the same vein, instead of having us refarm some mythical gear or some 7-star type gear, I'd rather be able to separate it like they have and just have a dedicated dungeon that's completely optional. And if you want to push your gear a little bit further, then go for it. And if you don't, then don't. However, there is that advanced quest. And so if that's what you're here for, we're going to get to that as far as how to deal with it. But that might be the only reason that you want to farm this dungeon at all. As far as gear Ascension goes on its own, I think it's okay. It does suck to get, like flat defense on crit damage gloves, but I disagree when people say it ruins pieces. To me, this piece isn't ruined. I didn't take it off my Herndig because I got flat defense. It's just not better. It's not worse, but it's not better either. But sometimes you do get lucky and you get pieces like this, where this is a nuker, and I already have crit rate and accuracy, which I do need on him, and now I'm getting bonus attack. So this is one piece that I might actually take all the way to 6 once I can actually get to stage 24, 25. But I'm not going to focus on other pieces that don't roll right, and I'm not even going to ascend pieces that aren't even good candidates. So I think you just get whatever you can, get whatever oil you can, test out a few pieces. If it rolls like this, then that's it. You don't go any further. If it rolls something awesome, then maybe put a bit more oil into it. Maybe 1 to 2 stars. Don't worry about this too much and just do what you can to get the quest done. So with all that said, let's get to the crux of the video here. What do I mean when I say low level? So if we look at this chart provided by the Aftershock group and focusing in on the 5th column, lesser energy or lesser potions per energy, you can see that it is green. It's the most green on stages 7 and stage 11. And again, for 80-90% of the player base, including myself, we're more focused on either just getting the quest done or just testing out a few pieces here and there to see how they roll. Meaning we only need lesser energy. You need 45 for the 1st star for a 5-star artifact, and you need 60 for a 6-star artifact. So with that said, we're mostly going to be focusing on stage 7. It has the best return in terms of potion or oil per energy. However, if you can push to 11, that is somewhat recommended as well, because you'll start to get a little bit of the greater potions. So for stage 7, this is my primary team that I will be running, and it's comprised of 3 single target DPS, 1 increased attack champion, and a sleep champion. Notice I'm not calling them out by name because that's not really important. It's more about the roles that they fill. To give credit where credit is due, I did see this style of composition as far as a speed farming team on channels like Chosen Plays, Hell Hades, as well, and Tyraku as well. And that kind of inspired me to theorycraft a little bit on my own and come up with a team for myself. So let's go ahead and see this team in action on stage 7. It kicks off by Brogni leading with his A3 increased attack and block debuffs. Then Gaius will follow up with the sleep. Then we start to debuff and DPS. So there's Fane using her debuff abilities. Rhodos goes in for 1 hit, Fenax goes in for 2. Already nearly halfway done with his health pool. He sleeps himself, so now we can just keep DPSing. We blow up the bombs, Fane goes in, and boom, 18 seconds, speed farm. If you wanted a closer look at the team setup here, I did prioritize Jester's Remedy on Gaius just to make sure he uses it, followed up by Explosive Wit, so he blows up the bombs. Brogni, I just let him do whatever, but he goes in the proper order anyways by starting with the A3 and going into the A2. Fane, I'm making sure that she's using her decreased defense and weaken ability first, and then she follows it up with Flower's Tears with the poisons and decreased attack, which usually is the finishing move. Rotos, I want to start off with his heavier hitting single target ability, but followed up by the other single target heavy hitting single target ability. And Fennex, I turn off the A2 and the A3, and I just want him to A1. That's it. Do a bunch of damage and pretty much die once the boss gets a turn. So since it was so fast, I'm going to go ahead and run it again just so you guys can see how it works. And it's worth noting here that I don't really care if one of the nukers or single target damage dealers dies when the boss eventually takes a turn, because I intend for him to take a turn. I'm putting him to sleep, and I'm purposefully making sure that I do wake him up such that he goes and uses the A3 here and puts himself back to sleep immediately, instead of cleansing off the debuffs with the A2, so that we can just continue to DPS. So that time Fane died, and looks like Brogni gets the last hit. There you go, 19 seconds. So it doesn't really matter if he kills Fennex or Fane, because Rotos can pretty much finish it off and just deal the damage. Brogni will never die essentially at this level, and so they'll always be able to get it done with a few more hits after the A3. Some of you may have noticed that I did call the team stage 11, and that is because it can do the exact same thing for me on stage 11. So we can show that real quick. It takes about twice as long, but the premise is exactly the same. Same start, put him to sleep, land some debuffs, a little bit of damage. He wakes up earlier just because he's a bit faster on this stage than on stage 7. So Fennex doesn't wake him up there, but we do blow up the bombs. We don't place any debuffs there because he's awake. We're still DPSing. Now he does the A3, puts himself back to sleep. He killed 2 of them, which is fine. We have Gaius and Rotos to help finish this off. Extra turn helps. He still has decreased defense and weaken. He's still asleep. And now we have more bombs. He took those off actually because he got a turn. But yeah, so this is a bit longer, 40-ish seconds. This is one of the longer ones. It depends whether or not he kills Fennex and Fane together. In this case, he did. But this one, I guess, is taking more like a minute long. But still stands. Again, even if he kills Gaius, Fane, and Fennex, he's not going to kill Rotos at this low level. He's not going to kill Brogni. So both of those champions can finish the boss as needed. Now, of course, a lot of you might be thinking, I don't have those legendaries, and I've got you covered. We've got a budget team ready to go to showcase as well for stage 7. Now, I will not say that this team will work as is on stage 11. It's a little bit tougher. He's a little bit tankier, and you have to be a little bit faster. As you can see, or as you saw, my Fennex is not quite fast enough. You need to be 201 or 200 speed in order to take a turn before the boss. And so it's not fully optimized for stage 11, but it works perfectly fine on stage 7. Premise is the same. We have Gorgorab now as my increased attack champion. He's also a reviver, in case you need that, a little bit of healing as well. Mockstalker comes in, and note, he is level 50, 5-star. But all he needs to do is land the sleep. We still have Fane in here as a DPS, but as our debuffer, sorry, but that could be any debuffer that you have. She just happens to be one of the best. And I have Faceless instead of Rotos now as a single target nuker. Fennex is still there as well. So we can go ahead and run this team, and this should take longer than my primary team, but it's probably 40-ish seconds long, so it's still a good time, and it kind of works the same. Gorgorab goes first, increase attack. We have a 2-turn sleep now instead of a 1-turn sleep from Gaius. Fennex does that, and Ice Bolt, and we still get him to about halfway. Now, this works a little bit differently. We don't have the Brogni shield to help keep us alive, but in this case, Gorgorab is a reviver, so he can pick up some of the dead folks. And that buys us enough time to get around and finish it off in, apparently, there you go, 27 seconds. I thought it was closer to 40. But yeah, so let me run that again for you guys so you can see it again. But again, the premise is the same. We have an increased attack champion. We have a sleep champion, 2-turn sleep in this case, which just buys you more time to do damage. You do a lot of your abilities at the start just to get a lot of damage in initially, about halfway, And oh, he actually didn't kill Phoenix that time. Look at that. But then you just keep wailing on him. He puts himself back to sleep. Woo, faceless. He puts himself back to sleep, and you can just nuke him down. So as long as you have increased attack champion, the revive is a bonus. Again, it's not necessary as long as you have some sort of survivability on one of your snipers to be able to finish it out. So as promised, I'm going to show you the builds on my champions, and note that this is not meant for you to copy the exact stats on the team. That's not really important, or copy the exact champions. It's more about the core of the team and to show what's possible with this type of composition. So starting off, we have my Faction Wars Fane, who has 4.3k attack, 208 speed, full crit rate, 206 crit damage, 350 resistance, and 243 accuracy. We have resistance on the banner, crit damage on the amulet, defense on the ring, speed on the boots, attack on the chest, crit damage on the gauntlets, speed and crit, speed and crit, speed and crit. Next we have Faceless, and again another Faction Wars champion in Cruel. Perception's kind of a bonus, it's not really required. We have 5.4k attack, 184 speed, full crit rate, 239 crit damage. He has attack on the banner, crit damage on the amulet, attack on the ring, attack on the boots, and he could hit a little bit harder once I max those out, attack on the chest, crit damage on the gauntlets, speed and crit, speed and crit, speed and crit. Sensing a theme for all the DPS there. On my Faction Wars Gorgrab, similar to Fane, he's kind of in a hybrid build with accuracy and resistance, but he's a support. So 45k on the HP, 2.6k defense, 236 on the speed, 347 resistance, 245 on the accuracy. And he has a lot of unmaxed gear, to be honest, but resistance on the banner, defense on the amulet, HP on the ring, speed on the boots, HP on the chest, defense on the gloves, speed, accuracy, res, speed, accuracy, res, speed, accuracy, res. Next we have my Faction War / Arena Phoenix, who's in a Savage set. We've got 4.6k attack, 186 speed, full crit rate, 227 crit damage. He has an attack banner, crit damage amulet, attack ring, speed on the boots, attack on the chest. Again, he could hit a little bit harder when this is maxed out. Crit damage on the gauntlets, speed and crit, crit and attack. We have our level 50 Muckstalker here. So note that he will not have as high as stats as he could have if he was 6-star, but he has just under 40,000 HP, 211 speed, 1.2k defense, again he's 5-star, and 335 accuracy. No banner because he's 5-star. Got defense on the amulet, defense on the ring, speed on the boots, HP on the chest, HP on the gloves, speed accuracy, speed accuracy, speed accuracy. Next we have my Arena Gaius. For all those pesky stone skin people in Arena, we got 6.4k attack, 252 speed, no crit damage crit rate because I don't want to use him that way. I want him to just bomb. 600 accuracy. As you might guess, we have accuracy on the banner. We have attack on the amulet. He's bombs are scale off attack, so you want to attack on the amulet for your bombers. Attack on the ring, speed on the boots, attack on the chest, attack on the gauntlets. Speed accuracy attack, speed accuracy attack. We have my Clan Boss Brogni, Demon Lord Clan Boss Brogni, and he's a overall support with a little bit of damage, 65k on the HP, 2.2k defense, 255 on the speed, that's precise for the speed tune, full crit rate, a little bit of crit damage, and almost 440 resistance. He's got resistance on the banner, a crit damage amulet with resistance, HP on the ring, speed on the boots, HP on the chest, crit rate on the gauntlets, speed res, a little bit of crit, speed res, a little some accuracy, and speed res with some crit. Lastly, we have my Arena Rhodos, also in Savage. Got almost 5.5k attack, 207 on the speed, full crit rate, 211 crit damage. He's got attack on the banner, crit damage on the amulet, attack on the ring, speed on the boots, attack on the chest, crit damage, gauntlets, and he could also have a little bit, he could hit a little bit harder as well, and this did roll attack for Ascension, so I'll be trying to max that out later on as well. Speed crit, you know the drill, speed and crit. All right, so that's going to do it for today's video. The main takeaway here is that these low-level stages are a lot more accessible than you might have originally thought, and even with a team of mostly epics and one key rare for the sleep. The important thing here is just getting the rolls right. Again, I have 2 DPS, and I guess 2.5 really DPS, a debuffer, increase attack champion because they're all attack based, and a sleep champion. Another thing to note here is that this is designed for you to just pick up champions that you have already built. I'm using all of these champions already. The only one who was built newly for this was Muckstalker himself, but a lot of the rest are just Faction Wars champions that I'm throwing in on this composition. I also wanted to add a few more numbers to this chart here that we can see, focusing on stages 7 and 11 again for the purposes of getting the quest done. Let's say you're going to do rank 1 on a level 6 artifact, so 60 oil. That would take you about 8 to 9 runs on stage 7, which is about 80 to 90 energy, and it would take you about 7 to 8 runs on stage 11 if you can pull that off, which is about 84 to 96 energy. So it's somewhat costly, maybe 100 energy, let's just round up 100 energy to get the quest done every few days or so, but it's not much worse than the get 3 artifacts a day quest. So I don't think it's as bad as people think, and if you can put together a team like this that can do stage 7 in about 30-ish seconds or less, it's not going to be as bad as you might think. As far as the later stages goes, I'm still working on what teams I want to use for those stages, so I don't have that ready for you guys yet. But if you want to see what I come up with when I do, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll be sure to make that into a video as well. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.